Nu metal, a famously controversial music genre. Whether it be the big bands and their members, or the debate if it's a real metal genre or not, today I'm going to talk about as much of that as I can on a 15-minute podcast. Welcome to Mel's Music Minute Podcast, where we talk about my favorite music genres and rank the bands. I'll start by explaining my podcast. I choose a music genre, and from that genre I choose 5 popular bands and 5 lesser-known bands. They can go in one of 6 tiers, S, A, B, C, D, or F, and obviously S is the top. This means you have the best music of that genre. And F is the worst. That means that your music is horrible. Although the possibility of ending up in F is very low because I believe that there's something good about most music. Finally, I'd like to say that these are my opinions, and a lot influences my decision, from the lyrics, the people themselves, and also their personal impact on me. Even the cover art will have an impact on me. While I originally tried to keep it mostly to the music, this is my podcast, and especially with nu metal, there's a lot to talk about with the band members. I'll start by introducing my genre and giving a brief overview of it. Today, my genre is nu metal. Nu metal is a music genre that was popular during the 90s and 2000s. It incorporates other genres like rap, hip-hop, and even funk, and I think nu metal is pretty diverse both in the music style and sound, and the types of people that make the music. I've mentioned on other podcasts that I like to draw musicians, and nu metal has so much more to offer than other genres I've talked about. It's not just a bunch of white guys with long hair. There's a lot more diversity in how these people look and the places they're from. So to start off, my first big band of the nu metal genre is Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit is pretty controversial for things, and I will talk about one of those things later. I really wanted to do this episode because their bass player recently died, and Limp Bizkit's one of the reasons why I wanted to start playing bass so that I could play their songs. So I wanted to say rest in peace, Sam Rivers. As for the other parts of the music, I really love the guitar. I love Wes Borland. I think he's very talented, maybe more so than the rest of the band, but the guitar is great. And in general, I really enjoy Limp Bizkit's music. As for my favorite songs are things like Break Stuff, Rolling, Nobody Like You, and It'll Be Okay are my top favorites. On the other hand, like I said, Limp Bizkit is pretty controversial, especially for Woodstock 99. I've been recently watching a lot of Woodstock 99 concerts because they're pretty interesting, and I really like watching concerts. So basically what happened is Woodstock 99 was a music festival, as the name suggests, after Woodstock, that had approximately 220,000 people. And that's a lot of people. And basically what happened during Limp Bizkit's performance is Fred Durst kind of told the crowd to let out their energy, which in a crowd of over 200,000 people is not a great idea. So a lot of people got hurt. Now, I personally don't really think that it was Fred Durst's fault. Like, I don't like Fred Durst, but I don't really think it was necessarily his fault that so many people got hurt. There were other performances. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of performances from Woodstock 99. Other performances said the same thing. And the entire festival was just not set up very well, and it caused a lot of people to get hurt. So I don't think it was necessarily Fred Durst's fault. Limp Bizkit's rating will be in A tier. Like I said, I really like Wes Borland's guitar. I also really like his face paint, and he's very artistic. He's very talented. I also think that Limp Bizkit is pretty alright, so I'll put them in A tier. But onto my next band is my first small band, and this band is Snot. So Snot, they're okay. I kind of like them. I think Lynn Straight kind of tries a little too hard with the rapping, and he kind of messes up, or at least in like live performances I've seen. But the music itself, like on the album, is really good. My favorite song is Snot. That's just the name of it, and it's really good. I also really like his dog. Rest in peace to both Lynn and Dobbs. And then something I really wanted to talk about with Snot is their album Straight Up. And this was actually after Lynn Straight passed away. But it still involves the rest of the members of Snot, so I wanted to talk about it. It's a pretty good album, in my opinion, because Straight Up was like a tribute album for him, so all his friends kind of came together and made songs in honor of him and put it on the album. Now, the quality of the album, on the other hand, it's horrible. One of the songs has Surge from System of a Down on it, and the song itself would, I'm sure, be fine if I could understand a single thing he's saying, but it's so quiet and like noisy that I can't understand anything. As for the ranking for Snot, I would probably put them in B tier. They're not super great, but I don't think they're bad either. So I would put them in B tier. My next big band is Korn, and I don't really have a lot to say about Korn. I know I have some friends that really like Korn, but I never really got that well. I did kind of get into their music a little bit, but not a whole lot. Their music is good. Like, I don't dislike it. I think it's pretty good, but it's just kind of there for me. It's nothing very specific. I do definitely have favorite songs, some of which are Got the Life, Make Me Bad, and Falling Away From Me are all songs that I really like, but there's definitely others. Freak on a Leash is pretty good as well. But I never really got that big into their music. I would like to say, I talked about playing bass a little bit when I was talking about Limp Bizkit, and I think another reason why I really wanted to play the bass is because their bass player is really talented, or at least, like, from what I've seen, he's pretty talented. It looks really cool when he plays, and I kind of wanted to be able to do what he does. I don't like him as a person, but he's pretty talented. So, as for Korn, I think I'd put them in B tier, kind of the same with Snot. They're not horrible, like, I do like them, but they're also not super great, and that's fine. They'll be in B tier with Snot. My next small band is Static X. So, first I'd like to say, Wayne Static has some of the coolest hair ever. It looks like he got electrified, and that's really fun. He's really fun to draw. So I also got into their music when I found their album Wisconsin Death Trap, which I have to say is a really cool album name. And I listened to the entire album. Now, to be fair, I only listened to that album, but I thought it was cool enough to include on here. I think the album's pretty good. I like the music. Some of my favorite songs are Bled for Days and Push It by them, which both come from Wisconsin Death Trap. I think the album's pretty good. The only critique I have for the album is that all the songs kind of start to sound really similar, and so I think they could have been more diverse with what they do. It's mostly the instrument parts, although the singing style is also pretty similar. But there are some songs like I'm With Stupid that are pretty interesting because they have like a track from like an interview or a news clip or some sort of thing at the beginning that makes it sound really cool. As for ranking with Static X, I think they're pretty cool. I don't listen to them a whole lot, but I think I'd put them in A tier. They're pretty good. I do like them, aside from that one song, but they'll stay in A. My third big band of the episode is Slipknot. Slipknot is a band that's crazy. Slipknot is a thing. I don't have a whole lot to say about Slipknot. They're really fun to draw. I do really like their costumes and like their masks specifically. In fact, I dressed up as Chris Fenn for Halloween, and I made the mask myself, and it took a really long time, but it was lots of fun, because I do like Slipknot. I think the masks are really cool, because it's pretty unique. Like, I know there's other bands that have masks, that wear masks and stuff, but I think that Slipknot is pretty unique with it, at least in the nu metal genre. I don't know any others. And I like the spooky thing they're going for, even though most of the masks don't actually scare me. The music itself is pretty good. It's really loud, which is great when I'm mad, and I really like angry, loud music. I really like the percussion. So they have like 9 members, and 3 of the members are just play percussion. So one person plays the drum set, and then the other 2 will just play other percussion. There's like timpani, snare, even a trash can. That's lots of fun. What else do I say? I think my favorite songs by Slipknot, and this changed recently because I heard another song by them and I thought it was really good. My mom hates it though. So my favorite songs by them are, that's hard actually, I like a lot of these. Wait and Bleed, Prosthetics, Before I Go, and Spit It Out are all really good. I really like those. I definitely have other songs that I really like by them, but they're not my favorites. And I think that goes with all the bands. There's a lot of songs that I like that aren't necessarily top tier. So as for ranking Slipknot, I think I'd put them in A tier. I don't like all their music, and there is definitely a lot that I do like, but there's bands better than them, or bands that I like more than them, so I think I'll put them in A tier. I think that's a good spot for them. Small band is Primer 55. Primer 55 is kind of hard to say, and I think their music is pretty good. This is another band where I listened to one album and decided I was just going to talk about them. So the album that I listened to was Introduction to Mayhem. I think it's their first album. I really like the cover art, I won't lie. It looks really fun to draw, and I listened to it. I think their music's really good. I can't say the name of some of their songs because there's bad words. In fact, I probably won't be able to play their songs, but their music is good. I do like the singing. The only thing I'd have to say is that on the album, there's a lot of filler tracks where they just like have random sounds or really like short songs. And it seems like almost every other one, or at least from what I remember listening to it, it felt like every other song was a filler track. And it was kind of weird, but the actual music was really good. So Primer 55, I'd say would go in A tier. I really like them. My next big band is Linkin Park, the one and only. So Linkin Park is kind of similar to Alice in Chains that I mentioned on my first podcast. They're really similar to me in like ranking and like talking about them. I think that they're both really great bands. I think that Linkin Park, I don't know very many songs by them that I don't like. I think they're awesome, and I kind of think I briefly touched on it when I was talking about Alice in Chains, about newer Alice in Chains, and similarly with Linkin Park, newer Linkin Park, I feel like they kind of get hate because it's not the original singer. I think Emily's great. I think her voice is really good. I think she does a great job singing for Linkin Park. I don't really like the hate that the bands get because, like, I understand to some people it feels like a replacement of the original singer. Like, Emily seems like a replacement of Chester, but I think it wasn't just Chester's band, so it's not just like Emily is using his music and claiming it as hers. Yes, she will, at live shows, will perform other Linkin Park songs, but it's kind of just continuing the legacy. It's kind of a new, fresh start, and similarly to Alice in Chains, it's not a replacement of Chester or Lane Staley. It's just a new start for that band. So that's my thoughts on that. Anyway, as for Linkin Park, I'd put them in S tier. I think they're great. That's my first S tier for today, and they're really good. My next small band is Seven Dust, and I love their music. Seven Dust is automatically going in S tier because their music is very good. I love Lejean's voice. It's really, I don't know, it just sounds really good. As for the music, it's great. I really don't have anything else to add on that. Some of my favorite songs by them are Waffle, Terminator, and Denial. I think those three are really good, although I like a lot of their music. They've kind of just like become one of my favorite bands. I have a lot of CDs at home, and I was going through my garage and I found a CD, case somewhere like hidden among my dad's things, and it was a like Seven Dust CD, and I got so excited. I listened to it. It was a live CD. I can't remember like where specifically or like what year because I didn't check, but inside of it, there was like a guitar pick that had Seven Dust written on it. Like, it's not signed, but it has the band name on it, and a bunch of photos of the band from that. And so now there's Seven Dust photos all over my wall, which is, Seven Dust is the band. I have a lot of like things on my wall pertaining to music and bands that I like. There's not a single other band on my wall that has two like things related to them except for Seven Dust. They're the only one, so that probably tells you how much I like them. Seven Dust is an S tier. My next big band and my last big band of the day is Deftones, and my opinions on Deftones have caused some not so happy people. So I don't really like Deftones. They're not really my thing. I think the biggest problem I have with them, because there's a part in the songs where Chino will like start like screaming basically, and that's fine. I love loud music. That's completely fine. I love listening to that. But the rest of the song is so slow. Like, the singing is so slow, and I hate when people sing so slow. Obviously, it's their music, they can do whatever they want, and I don't like dislike Deftones, I just don't like their music. I really tried getting into them, but I just hate it when people sing so slowly. Like, I can't, my attention span isn't even short, like my attention span isn't even that short, and I cannot focus on what Chino is saying. Also, my friend showed me one of their music videos where they sacrificed a pig to a shark, and that made me very sad. So, Deftones will probably be going in C tier because, once again, they do have a good part. Like, I like the music. They do have good parts. Like, even Chino's singing has good parts when he starts, like, screaming into the microphone and stuff. But I just don't really like the rest of it. My last band, I had to, like, rearrange this entire episode just so that I could talk about this band, because they're probably my one of my favorite bands as well. But this band is another band that I really like, and they are Powerman 5000, and they're kind of cringe, I won't lie. I really like them though, and something that I really like, I mentioned before that I really like drawing the musicians, and they are super fun to draw. They have a sci-fi theme, and they have all these like space kind of spacey outfits, alien like costumes and stuff, and I think that's really cool. I also do really like the music, the guitars, the drums, bass. The bass is really good, especially on their first album is True Force, and one of my favorite songs by them is Strike the Match, and that song has really good bass in it. It's just really good. So yeah, I really like the music, but one thing that I do not like is the lyrics. I like Spider-One, I like his voice. I just wish that they wrote better lyrics. Like, the chorus of the song usually, if not always, just comes down to him screaming the name of the song over and over again, which is fine if the lyrics, like, had something more to them. Other than that, I really like the bands, and they're definitely one of my favorites, like I said. Oh, actually, one of the bands that I was originally going to put in here, or musicians that I was going to originally put in this episode, was Rob Zombie, but I kind of moved him out to talk about Powerman 5000, and Powerman 5000, their singer is actually Rob Zombie's brother, which is pretty cool, and I found that out a while ago, but I found it out when I was looking at pictures to draw, and I kept seeing Rob Zombie in the pictures. I was like, that's really weird. I wonder if they're like best friends or something. And then when I went to go search up Spider One, and then I saw that his brother was Rob Zombie, and my mind was blown. I don't know why, but I thought that was pretty cool. And so, like I said, Powerman 5000 will be going in S tier because I really like them, and I will definitely look past their flaws because I like them. So they're in S tier. Thank you for listening. This is my 3rd episode of this podcast, and my next podcast will be talking about punk music, more pop punk, but punk nonetheless, and I'm really excited for that.